That evening, when Sarah's text appeared on my screen, I froze. Going on a trip with my ex, don't be jealous. It wasn't just a message. It was the smugness behind it. For 4 years, I had given everything. Patience, loyalty, understanding. I picked up extra shifts, paid the bills, and carried the weight of keeping our relationship steady. And now, she was carelessly announcing a getaway with the same man she once swore had shattered her beyond repair. My chest tightened as I stared at the words, my hands growing cold. Did she honestly believe I would just nod and smile while she packed her bags for another man? A bitter laugh slipped out of me. The signs had been there for months. Her phone flipped face down the moment I walked in. Hushed whispers at night. Flimsy excuses about staying out late. I kept telling myself I was imagining it, that I was being paranoid. But now, her own words erased any doubt. And worse than the confession itself was the mockery in it. She wasn't asking. She was flaunting it, as if I were too foolish to do anything but wait for her return. She expected jealousy, maybe even a desperate plea for her to stay. But I refused to play into her script. With trembling fingers, I typed back, "Don't worry. I won't be here when you come back." No revisions, no hesitation. Just send. And with that, a strange calm settled over me. For the first time, I'd turned the tables. I could almost picture her smug grin twisting into disbelief as she read my reply. She had always held the power, always relied on me swallowing my pride to keep her comfortable. Not this time. My message wasn't a bluff. It was a decision. That night, I packed in silence. Each shirt folded carefully, every drawer emptied as though I'd never existed there. I glanced around the apartment, the place that was supposed to be our home, and suddenly saw it for what it really was. Perfume still clung to the couch cushions. Smiling photos hung on the walls. Her grin brighter than anything she'd ever shown me in real life. Everything felt staged, artificial. By midnight, my bags were loaded into the car. My choice wasn't fueled only by anger. It was clarity. Sarah thought she could keep me as her backup, while playing games with my emotions. She didn't realize that with one arrogant message, she had destroyed her grip on me. The next morning, my phone lit up nonstop with her texts. At first, lighthearted. "Wait, what do you mean you won't be here?" Then, confused. "Are you really upset over this?" "It's just a trip." And finally, frantic. "Where are you? Please answer me." I stayed silent. By then, I was already miles away on the highway, leaving behind not only the apartment, but the years I spent compromising, the times I sacrificed my dignity just to keep her happy. My silence carried more weight than any reply I could have written. I moved into a small place on the other side of town. It wasn't impressive, but it was calm, and for the first time in years, I felt a kind of lightness. No more reading her moods, no more tiptoeing to avoid an argument, no more begging for affection that rarely arrived. Freedom had a sharp taste, strange, almost bitter, but it was mine. 2 days later, Jason, a mutual friend, called. His tone was a mix of disbelief and pity. "Man, Sarah's all over the place. She's telling everyone you dumped her because she went on an innocent trip, says you blew out of proportion." I laughed, though there was no humor in it. Innocent? She ran off with her ex. What did she expect? Me to send them a bottle of champagne? Jason went quiet for a beat, then said something that stuck with me. "Honestly, people can see what really happened. She's embarrassed you didn't play your part. You didn't beg. You didn't fight. You walked away. And that's what's driving her crazy." He was right. Sarah had always thrived on control, fueling drama, stirring chaos, waiting for me to apologize just so she could feel powerful again. But this time, I gave her nothing. No audience, no stage, only silence. And that silence echoed louder than any argument. Later that week, she showed up at my new place. I didn't let her in. From the other side of the door, her voice cracked, swinging between fury and desperation. "You can't just leave everything we had behind. It was just a trip. I needed space. I needed clarity. Don't throw us away because of this." Her words were hollow. Space? Clarity? She hadn't needed space when she leaned on me to cover her rent, when she borrowed my car, when she sobbed on my shoulder about how cruel life was. No! The only time she needed space was when her ex reappeared. I listened, but I didn't bend. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about respect. And once that was gone, nothing could rebuild it. Days bled into weeks, and her messages shifted tone. What began as pleas soon turned into accusations. You never really loved me. You're heartless. I bet you were waiting for an excuse to leave. But the barbs didn't cut me the way she hoped. For once, I could see through her attempts to wound me, and they slid off untouched. She was unraveling, and I was finally free. I poured myself back into life. Work, the gym, reconnected with friends I had pushed aside, taking quiet evening walks without explaining where I was going. That simple freedom, existing without being monitored, criticized, or guilt-tripped, was worth more than anything I'd given up. One evening, Jason sent me a screenshot from Sarah's social media. She had posted a photo with her ex, captioned with some vague line about finding herself and true love never dying. But the comments weren't the applause she was hoping for. People questioned her choices, called her out, even mocked her for chasing something that had already failed once. I didn't react. I didn't text her. I didn't feel anger. I just closed the screen and smiled. Life has a way of exposing the truth on its own. A month later, she appeared at my door again, this time not furious, but broken. Her voice shook as she confessed that the trip hadn't turned out the way she dreamed. The same old patterns, the same old fights, the same wounds had resurfaced with her ex almost immediately. I made a mistake, she whispered. I thought he'd change, but he hasn't. You were the steady one, the one who cared. Please give me another chance. I looked at her for a long moment. Once, those words would have been everything I craved. But not anymore. Now, they came too late. I did love you, I said quietly. But love isn't enough when respect is gone. You made your choice when you got on that plane. I made mine when I walked away. Tears welled in her eyes, but I didn't falter. She left that night, and I closed the door, without rage, without regret, but with finality. For the first time in years, I wasn't chasing, fixing, or waiting. I was simply living. And that, I realized, was the sweetest form of revenge.